We both kind of feel that art in Slovakia, also elsewhere in Central Europe, is kind of underrepresented.
People that come to the space would like to know more about how things function, not only about the art scene, why are the prices that high, or how does the career of a certain artist can develop.
If I buy this piece of art, is it real?
They're extremely interested in what does it mean to start to collect.
Hello, welcome to the Art Scene Podcast. This is our first episode, and very excited to get into this. We're going to be talking about art. We're going to be talking about art specifically within the context of Central Europe, but also within the greater context of the world in which we live. I'm here with Patrik Steinhauser. My name is Gabriel Brockman, and this is the Art Scene Podcast. This is our first episode, so we'll do a little bit of an introduction. Patrik Steinhauser, of course, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and why we're here.
Thank you, Gabriel. Welcome to Steinhauser Gallery. Well, as you said, my name is Patrik Steinhauser. I'm 46 years old, and we are here in the city center of Bratislava. And actually, you see our 10th exhibition. So the gallery started in June 2023, and every second month we have another exhibition. So around about 5-6 per year, depends. And I think people know us a little bit for the fact that our signature is probably, if I may say so, to bring the international art scene or artists and curators to Bratislava. And of course, we work also with some Slovak artists that we have pretty much handpicked. It's a process. We can talk about that later. And of course, they get the chance to show their solo shows in our gallery as well. But for them, it's probably more interesting to exhibit abroad. So that's what we try to achieve, to actually bring, or in best case, to start a dialogue between the Slovak contemporary art and international contemporary art scene.
And I'm Gabriel Brockman. I'm an artist and collector, and I think this is probably where we first met, probably a few years ago now. I've been living as an expat here in Bratislava for 15 years. Which is a crazy amount of time when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not much younger than you. I'm only 44. So I guess we're a bunch of old guys talking about art.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The idea behind this, we often have really kind of intense discussions about art and our lives and how art fits into it, and. Every time I have those discussions, I just leave, and my mind is going crazy, like with all of the things that we discussed. And I think that all of those discussions that we've had are very interesting.
Yes.
And I think other people would like to kind of step inside those discussions.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why we're here. And in general, to talk about how art is both seen and the unseen. We were saying, the unseen art, and we both kind of feel that art in specifically Slovakia, but also maybe elsewhere in Central Europe, is kind of underrepresented on the global scale.
Yeah.
Maybe unnecessarily, maybe necessarily, or just as a product of the size or scope of Slovakia in general. It's not a huge state. It's a
small country.
It's a small country, but I think. I don't think that really matters when you're dealing with how many distilled steps it takes to get your art into that kind of caliber where you could see it in a gallery like this.
Yeah, I mean, that would draw the question, if this is right what you say, that specifically Slovak contemporary art or modern art is underrepresented in an international level. What is the role of the institutions, of the Slovak institutions in that? Do they do their job correctly? Could they approve? I mean, that would be an open question. We are a private gallery, so of course we are on the other side of that scale, I would say, not supported by the state in any sense, any means.
Well, we talked about that before. This idea that And we've seen it elsewhere outside of Slovakia. We've seen it happen in Hungary, maybe also
Czech
to
Republic.
a lesser, Czech Republic is kind of a really close sibling of Slovakia in terms of the art scene and how developed it is in those regions. And it was kind of in some way reactionary to the political climate in those countries. And we're also kind of seeing echoes of that here. History, as they say, repeats.
Yeah. I mean, when I speak to Czechs or Slovaks about this topic, a lot of people tend to say that, it's a historical fact that the intelligentsia was in the nowadays Czech Republic, mainly in Prague, and not so much in Slovakia. I don't know if I would really second that, because I know that Bratislava, and we know historically, was always a very important spot, especially for the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And
the crown jewels were housed, in our castle. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's just a box on a hill," but
absolutely. So, I'm not sure if that would really, if this is, maybe it has, of course, some traces in that. But coming back to maybe the difference between the institutions in Czech Republic, how I see it, or the art scene in general, like the collectors, the private collectors, and also the private institutions, comparing it to Slovakia, I think, of course, Czech Republic is a bigger country. There is more budgets, but it's a more active scene. They play, of course, a bigger role in the international market as well. And on the personal side, when we speak to the big collectors, like really the bigger ones in Czech Republic, and we talk about 2,000 and more pieces in their collection, like the really important serious collectors, actually, they understood how important it is to not only consume, but also to support not only the young art scene, but also, and how to diversify their portfolio of, let's say, Czech artists and mixing it with international art to make it even more valuable and to make it more visible for international collections and collectors to have an eye in the mix. Of course, every collector has his or her own topic, how they would like to collect. Is it by medium?
The reason behind
it, exactly.
Yeah.
Is it something? Is it a topic they collect? Is it a medium? Is it a special epoch? Whatever. So that's very individual.
I think that's a trend in Slovakia as well. Also, Czech Republic is that there's a really strong proclivity towards collecting local artists or artists from Slovak or Československo.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of for Slovaks, it goes both ways. You can be a collector in Slovakia, and you're a very avid collector of both Slovak and Czech art.
Yeah.
But in Czech Republic, I feel like it's a little less coming the other way. And that's kind of, for a long period of history, much of the media was produced on that side, when it was Československo.
Yeah.
And that's pretty interesting dynamic, that now that they're two separate, cultures. I mean, they are quite different in terms of the culture, the religion that's practiced or not practiced, for example. Just the hustle and the bustle of the urban scene versus Bratislava, Prague versus Bratislava. That old history, bohemian, like the size of Staré Mesto, the old city in Prague is huge. And here in Bratislava, you can walk across it very quickly.
Absolutely.
Something for me, which I really enjoy. I really like how close and comfortable it is.
Yes, me too. Here in Bratislava.
And this gallery is situated literally. I think it's maybe the center of center.
Yes.
You can't get much more center.
I think so. Yeah.
And I think that really allows for that to kind of be a center point, a hub, if you will, for in and out, which I really enjoy. As a collector, as pretty new collector in the grand scheme of things, definitely not 2,000 pieces in my collection.
Well,
yet.
it has to start somewhere, right?
It has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, as we're collecting, we definitely noticed initially that we were buying only Slovak artists. And then we were introduced to this gallery, to you. I'm like, okay, maybe some other art. And I was basically the only artist in our house that wasn't Slovak for a number of years.
Yes, yes.
And I'm still holding strong. But I think what's really interesting is that from when we started, I think we really started seriously collecting about 4 years ago. And what we've seen is a really kind of shift in who we see in Soga, the auctions, who we see at openings, in these spaces. There's galleries across town as well, Veit and Weiss, Folk. And we're seeing new people every time we go there. When we first started collecting, it was kind of the same people. And I'm wondering why we're seeing this shift. Do you have any insight on why we're seeing this shift?
That's what I'm saying. I would like to come back again to Czech Republic. When I've been to a show in 2018 in one of the biggest galleries there in Czech Republic, and I asked the owner, how do the Czechs collect? Could you give me some insights?
Because you were seeing a difference in how Czechs were collecting versus Slovaks.
Back then I was living in Munich, so I had more. I had probably the comparison between Germany, or I was looking for a comparison between Germany and Czech Republic. It was just interesting for me as a collector myself, because the gallery was not existing, but I was already an art advisor, and I had already interest in that scene, in that V4, Visegrad 4. How they call it, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and Poland. But what they said to me is, well, the Czechs mainly collect Czech artists and some Slovaks, if they have a good name. I was like, okay, interesting to know. What happened 1 year, 2 years later, especially when COVID started, the scene opened completely. Nowadays, I have requests from Czech collectors that go specifically into international art. Yeah. So what happened actually? I mean, they're doing a great job. They're writing in every magazine, lifestyle magazine or specific architecture magazine or whatever. There is minimum 2 sides about how to collect art, how to invest in art, how to sell art, why it's important to have art and to live with art. What it brings to you on an emotional level, being surrounded by art. They're doing great in that. I mean, the communication level in Czech Republic about contemporary art is just enormous. I love it. And what I can say now about, answering your questions, this is happening right now in Slovakia. It's more and more happening. And that's probably why you have seen 2 years ago probably always the same faces in the exhibition and at the exhibitions. And now, hopefully, it's starting to change. And if we have a little part in that to influence it positively with this gallery, then we are on the right place, right spot with the right signature.
And with this podcast.
And with the podcast, exactly, with this podcast.
So I think it was almost 2 years ago. My wife, we got her a course, EduArt.
EduArt experiences.
And this started in Prague. And I think it started also right around this time where you said this kind of explosion, where everyone was so kind of condensed. Okay, it's like the supernova, everyone was forced into this very small space, either inside their house or maybe even inside a single room inside their house if they got their COVID separately from somebody else. And that pressure could very well be the catalyst that exploded people outside of collecting. That's a very interesting idea. I've never really thought about it like that. I didn't tie this kind of renaissance to COVID, but it definitely affected us. Of
course, we have to be clear that we we do speak right now about Bratislava and the area. I mean, if you probably drive 200 kilometers into the country, I would say the situation is different. Might be, I'm not sure. Košice might be a nice hub, which is 500 kilometers from here for the ones that don't know Košice, which is actually in the eastern part of Slovakia. I know that they have a very good art scene. Niko Bernat from Vunu is doing a great job. He has also a gallery here in Bratislava and in Vienna, which is great, I think. And I mean, it's all about the activity. It's all about this DIY mentality that I pretty much still hold strong after many years. that, you know, don't talk about it too much, don't think about it too much, just do it, just find a way how to support whatever you want to support, what you're burning for. And of course, I keep reading everywhere, there's like a campaign here in Bratislava, emotions do not pay your bills. I think it's some sort of, I don't know if it's a bank or whatever.
Okay.
I mean, I studied finances, so I do get what they want to say, but I would oppose that it's the emotion that kicks you off in the morning, you know, and gives you the power to achieve something on a daily basis, meaningful. Yeah. And of course, you get slaps in the face, everybody of us. I mean, it's a challenge. Mm-hmm. Life is not the easiest, of course, and it depends on how you deal with the certain topics. But
and art has always been this thing that we use to deal with or deconstruct or put a salve on our hurt, our emotions, our feelings. You know, you have these structures here that you know, they make you feel a certain way when you see them, or maybe not. You know, it depends. But it's always an interpersonal relationship.
Absolutely.
Between you and the art, and I think that's pretty incredible. So here we are in the Art Scene podcast. I'm here with Patrik Steinhauser. My name is Gabriel Brockman. And we are talking about emotion and how it connects to art. We saw this campaign, art doesn't pay the bills, but for a lot of people it does.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
really does.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
I think in general in life, it's about getting to know yourself better on a daily basis. You know, just explore yourself. If we let's say, speak about a concept as an ego, for example, that everybody has an ego. Now, you know, of course, you have this Far East philosophies that there should be not that much ego, or probably no ego at all, just to be free. Whatever, we don't go there. But when we talk about art, I think for me personally, if I may put it on a subject level, starting to collect art and starting to produce art in 2015 was all about getting to know myself better and getting deeper into the scene. And the deeper I get into the scene and into the knowledge that is behind contemporary, modern, and classic art, historical art, the more I reflect my own personality in that, and the more it opens, actually, for me personally, another levels of possibilities of thinking, of acting, doing whatever, being active in my daily life. And it's just, it adds up a massive load of informations, of ideas, of visions. And I hope that doesn't sound too pathetic, but I mean, that's actually how I see my personal cosmos when we talk about Patrik Steinhauser and art, or whatever we do with that.
So, medicine before it became science.
Yes.
The medicinal practitioner, or used to ask when
the alchemist, right?
The alchemist,
yes.
The shaman, used to ask, when was the last time you danced, or sang, or expressed, you know, because that fundamental feeling of expression was so important, you know, on a fundamental level to your well-being as a person.
Absolutely.
And I think with the science of things, I feel like we kind of lost that sometimes. Yeah. And you know, you grow up. You're gonna grow up. When are you gonna, do something, real with your life? You know, instead of painting pictures, or a lot of artists struggled through this. Some didn't. Some had amazing parents who were like, oh yeah, art. Make some art, and they were artists themselves, most likely.
Yeah.
And I think we see that a lot with the artists that we see in the galleries. We see both sides of this, but it's always there's a fundamental need for them to create something. Mm-hmm. And as collectors, we can also participate in that. And that's really, really cool. I mean, you don't have to go out and chip marble yourself, to express yourself.
You can do that.
You certainly can, and you should if you have this inclination.
Yes, absolutely.
get some eye protection and get a chisel and see what happens.
Yes.
And I think I've also run into artists where they were just like, one day I felt like picking up the brush, or I felt like hitting this piece of rock together.
Yes.
And it created, and now I'm doing this all the time.
Yeah.
And you never really know what's going to resonate with you.
Absolutely.
That emotion.
Yeah.
That really drives us to create something meaningful.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what life should be all about the meaningful moments that you create for yourself and your inner circle.
We need to go and
and maybe
graffiti that
maybe
billboard.
even for the outer circle. I mean, that's why we do the gallery. Of course, certainly that's clear that we don't know everybody who is attending to the shows or on a daily basis when we are open. But it's great to meet people. It's great to, I mean, what we see here in Bratislava, and it's getting more and more, the people that come to the space for the first time or on a regular basis, they would like to know more about how things function. And it's different, not only about the art scene or how the prices, why are the prices that high or that low, or how does the career of a certain artist,
or
can develop.
If I buy this piece of art, is it real?
Sure. But it's also questions about materials, about how did he do that or she, and I pretty much, I mean, I'm here only on Saturday. During the week there is my colleagues here, but the Saturday is my day, and I really enjoy talking to people and listening to their opinions, to their interpretations, and that gives a lot of energy back. Because it sometimes can be exhausting, It's not only 5 shows per year. I mean, we have museum shows with the gallery, which we do abroad. We have fairs and kind of.
And you curated this last exhibition.
This one,
yourself.
the first time.
That was
first time. Yeah.
You wanted some extra art.
Yes,
some extra effort.
I wanted to see. I'm a person who would like to try everything from the perspective of the creator, which means that I certainly not going to call myself an educated or art historian that is going to curate the next 10 shows or something. Not at all. It's not my profession. But I wanted to try to write a text about a certain topic and choose the right pieces and the right artists, bring them together, and judging from the feedbacks from the audience and also the 2 artists. I think it went well, and I'm
from the other
okay.
side of the.
From the other side,
it looked really good.
But the next, thank you very much.
I couldn't tell that it wasn't your profession.
Thank you. But the next one will be curated by an art historian again, so that's fine. But of course, in the future, for myself as a person, and also maybe for the gallery, there will be probably a little bit more of this curator projects, mainly abroad with institutions. We plan one in Hungary by the end of the year, which is also, let's say, my own signature. And we will see. I mean, for me, it's very important to, as I said, to bring the ideas, the artists, also abroad. Just to communicate them and not.
So not just going one way. Bringing others in, but also bringing Slovak artists out. And this cultural exchange is really at the heart and the fundamental premises of why we're talking about art, is that we both are actually from outside of Slovakia.
Yes.
And we've kind of grew our collections either in Germany or US or here, and we've seen things evolve, and we see how it is evolving, and we kind of have a little, I don't want to say it's a unique perspective, but it is a little bit of an outside perspective.
It is.
So we are kind of outsiders.
Definitely.
Stomping around, making a mess.
Yes.
And art and creation always requires some amount of chaos.
Yes.
So shaking things up.
Yeah.
That
was my very, very first idea when I started to, from the collector side, to be not only the consumer, but started by, let's say, a coincidence, being asked from an artist to produce a show in London in 2015, and realizing, okay, now I'm on the other side, on the producer side, let's say, I give something back, and that was actually a crucial point for whatever we do here. And I've had this conversation with Nico Bernhard from Vunu Gallery, because he is we are outsiders, but he's outsider as well, he said,
Yeah.
because he grew up in Košice.
Okay.
He started his gallery there, and he comes to Bratislava and
feels-
is a newbie as well. I mean, people know him. He's a Slovak, so it's a bit different than us. But still, I mean, he has to establish himself here as well, and nobody knows him so much. So you can be Slovak and an outsider in Bratislava as well.
On the billboards, it was like big little city or something, or little big city or
Yes.
something. It really is.
Yes.
Like I said, you can walk across Old Town in 5-10 minutes, and
But that's a big advantage as well, I can tell you, because we have foreign people coming here, mainly from Vienna, which is just 65 kilometers from here, Hungarians for 200 kilometers, and
Prague's only
350 kilometers, I would say.
2.5 hours.
So
Americans talk in distance by time it takes to get
yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean,
In
it depends
Europe,
how fast.
kilometers. Yeah.
It depends how fast you drive, of course. But we don't have this German autobahn here, unfortunately. Otherwise, you can 250 and you are there. But what they say is, and that's very interesting for the old town here in Bratislava, that more and more galleries settle here in the old town, and people that come have the possibility to visit, as a pedestrians, even within, let's say, I don't know, within half an hour, you will reach all these galleries, the National Gallery as well, some institutions, and I think that's a very, very
Huge benefit.
yeah, it's a huge benefit. It's very beneficial. Exactly what you say.
We were in Paris recently, and in a day you can maybe hit like a region of galleries, but like the distance that you have to cover multiple topics, multiple exhibitions, it's daunting. I mean, we put in 10 kilometers a day on foot, and by the end you're just like, oh god.
But when I go to Paris to do this, I try to stay more than one day, and then I do Marais on one day, Saint-Germain on another day, and I try to stay in the district, and because of course there is some districts that are more interesting than the other ones, but I think Paris has 1,000 galleries, so it's not impossible to see them all. But you probably don't want to see them all as well, because I don't know about 1,000 galleries, keeping up the quality. But you pick up the Rosins, of course, and you go there and visit probably the big ones and some mid-sized ones, in my case, and maybe some interesting newbie, and that's it. Yeah.
I think a lot of artists, or a lot of collectors, artists, tourists even, come through Bratislava and their expectations are exceeded in general. When they see the art that's on the walls, when they walk into a gallery like this, they're like, wait a second, I didn't think this would be here, And then you ask why, and they're like, well, I don't know. There's this, I don't know, mystery around how do these come? Where did this come from? And then you have like a really true gem. I think is the Danubiana Gallery on the Danube River. Architecturally speaking, it's quite extraordinary. The collection inside of it is pretty wild for such a small space. It's not even in a city center. You actually have to there's one bus that goes out there, or you have to take a car or a cab, and you can do it, but if you don't know it's there as a tourist, you probably wouldn't wind up there.
Yes.
But outside the sculpture garden, some immense sculptures. Inside there's some smaller sculptures which are also quite immense. There's a Nam Gabo, which is it's just a tiny head sculpture in metal, but the importance of that sculpture in terms of the zeitgeist in the era in which it was created and how it changed sculpture, it's
important.
It's crazy, and it's just sitting there. Just like,
I mean, we as you said correctly, Danubiana is an interesting museum. It's partly, I think nowadays it's partly financed state and partly through private funds. There is Zoya Museum, which is on the opposite, 30 kilometers other side from Bratislava, which is another very interesting privately led museum. And
So here at the Art Scene, or possibly Unseen podcast, We're here talking with Patrik Steinhauser, myself, Gabriel Brockman, both established in the local art scene, or establishing ourselves in the local art scene. We're talking about art in Central Europe, how it's growing, how it's, I think, poised to kind of explode.
Yeah.
And we're talking about galleries and how when somebody comes to Bratislava, they might not necessarily come to look at art. You know, it's not like Paris, which we were talking about earlier, where it's you go to Paris, you look at art. That's what you do in Paris.
Yeah.
Here in Bratislava, I think when they find these gems that are hidden, these unseen in the scene, they're very surprised.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, as you mentioned, Danubiana or Zoya Museum. We have Slovak National Gallery, of course. There is some other institutions, but
Zoya was purpose-built to be a large space.
Yeah. I mean, they have it's privately owned by a family. They have a huge collection. Especially, they are very well known for being one of the biggest Andy Warhol collectors in Europe.
For our listeners who haven't been to Zoya, you're driving through the countryside and you've gone through vineyards. This is kind of the wine country of Slovakia. It's called Modra.
Yes.
This blue region.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's Modra because it's depressing, or
I don't know.
Or the wine, or
it has something to do with the wine, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe there was a grape that was a blue grape or something like that. But you're driving through this, and all of a sudden there's a field, and in the field it looks like I don't know what it looks like. It's this large, industrial-looking, expansive. I mean, it's massive. It's like a warehouse, but it doesn't look like like a storage warehouse.
No.
It has
a proper
lines
museum.
to it.
I think it has a proper museum look, and the architects did a very, very good job. But I think there is more than 1,000 square meters of exhibition space. It's huge, and we have the chance, as the owners are also our collectors, to do and organize shows on a large scale, international shows. So right now the 5th one is running with Ronny Plesl, who is a Czech artist that works with glass sculptures. And I mean that's the thing that people don't expect it, especially when we invite people from abroad, from Germany, from wherever, from wherever, and we stay with them and we show them a bit around, and we go to see the cultural spaces. They're like blown away, and they would never expect this in Bratislava in Slovakia. We have people coming here, and I was like, oh, okay. That's a historic. I would expect this one in London or in Vienna, but not in Bratislava. And I was like, but you have it.
For 15 years, we've been bringing people in.
Yes, exactly.
Constantly,
But on the contrary, Gabriel, I think, and that's if I may draw the comparison to Budapest or Warsaw or even Prague, a lot more private institutions are active in the scene and support art with building up their collections and support the scene with that, and showing this to a public, educate them on the level how to read art, how to they do the publishing. You can buy books about it and explore in that field and get your own experience, and that would be something which I would wish for Bratislava. For some of the wealthy people here, if they call themselves collectors or not, I don't care, to establish something and to understand how important this is to give something back on the cultural level, and also to understand how much of a play ball it is and an advantage for them to establish something like this for them.
It's such a huge opportunity.
It's amazing. And
we were talking about when that void is created by state institutions, when the private investors, private collectors have stepped in, the opportunity and the explosion that's happened because of that, we have evidence of it. We've seen it before in our neighbors. And I think, I think this is why, this coupled with the fact that I'm seeing new interest, people who you wouldn't think would be interested. I was talking with the owner of a restaurant recently, young much younger than we are. But, and I was like, oh yeah, so we're, I'm doing this and like, oh, art, so you're a collector. It's like, oh yeah, we collect a lot of things. I go, so how do you do that? And they're instantly curious. They're instantly interested in what does it mean to be a collector. I was like, oh well, I just, I'm just a guy. Like I don't like. Well, I'm just a guy too. Like
that's exactly what I'm talking about. We see the same. Exactly the same what you say we see here. People come, young people even, like in their 30s, and of course older as well, and they're extremely interested in what does it mean to start to collect, or if they're already collectors, of course, then that's another topic we can talk about, or that's another also another level of conversation with these people. But I'm really I find it very interesting how this, let's say, seen unseen is growing, and it's great to be part of that. And this is exactly the purpose why my wife and myself have opened this gallery, and why we came here by purpose from Germany to Slovakia. And of course, I have people asking me why Slovakia, and my wife is like, this question is like, and she's like, why not? It's like, why not? It's like, come on. Of course, there is.
But this is the answer that I give them.
Yeah.
And they don't have an answer back for it.
Exactly.
They never do. It's like, why not Slovakia?
Exactly. Because
the other obvious one is my wife is Slovak, but really, like, I think comfort-wise, like opportunity-wise, like the culture, like it's
geographically perfectly.
We're about
located.
as central as it gets.
Yeah, this is Central Europe.
There's a stone not far from here that is the geographical center of Europe, and it's in Slovakia.
Yes.
Yeah,
people forget about that.
It was kind of forgotten. I guess, or unseen for a little while.
yes, exactly. But of course, we had the chance to open the gallery in Prague, and we would do probably. Of course, there's a bigger scene, more money, probably. It's more established. But why supporting? I mean, Prague is great, and we have great collectors there, and I really like, especially the artists, the contemporary artists, and also the rich historically part, and also the institutions like Rudolfinum and Kampa, Museum Kampa. They're doing a great job.
But you could open up here. You had the potential to do it.
We wanted to do it here. Yes, exactly. Because something like when we saw it, we thought something is lacking. Who is bringing the international art to Slovakia? There was not so many people or gallery doing that, and also Slovak National Gallery or museums. They, very few, not a lot, and we just saw the potential and we slipped into that. And
so I guess the real takeaway is that it doesn't have to be a big thing, just a small. What can you do? But what's going to have a bigger impact? What can you collect? What can you pick up? It's maybe small, because you want to start small, as you do with most things that you pick up. But what's going to have a big impact? So what really will change the way you feel about yourself, your emotions of your space, how you express your space. That's definitely where we started as collectors. Was we were picking art that we were passionate about. We weren't like, oh, this artist is going to explode in 5 years or whatever. And
personal. It
was very personal. And then I think one of the things that I liked, my wife shared with me from EduArt, was buy one for yourself and then one for your collection, as a repertoire piece that you were going to sell or
after
a certain amount of time. But
that's a good strategy, by the way.
And that way, you don't have to murder your darlings, or sit on things longer than you should if you're in it for the investment side of things. But I think it's an opportunity to just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be something in a major gallery. It can be somebody that you see as a friend to support them. This weekend, actually, Academy of Fine Art and Design is having their final showings, all their student work from the previous year.
Yes.
And all of the studios are open.
Yes.
This is such a cool time.
Yeah.
I'm going later.
Yeah.
But this is such a cool time to see what's happening.
Yes.
Because artists in school have carte blanche. Like they can do whatever they want. You know, like they're beholden to no one. They don't have to make a buck out of it.
Yeah.
They don't have a collector in mind or an investor, you know, that they need to, you know,
Yeah.
support. They don't have a residency where they have
Yes.
somebody watching them, telling them how to do it. And so you can kind of see the raw, unfiltered. We were talking about wine earlier. You know that we have Burčak in this
Yes,
area.
yes.
This wine.
You
That's
can see the
very
essence,
fresh, new wine,
yeah.
but you can see what's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on the other side, it's very important to also to support the young artists in different levels. I mean, they have the start is always can be quite you know, challenging, and they do hustle in when they come out of school. You know, mostly having no bucks and no supporters, no collectors behind them. So, of course, I mean, our gallery is you know, the signature of our gallery is more about established artists and,
Sure.
and artists that have already built up their 10, 15 years of career, because that's our signature. But also we do, let's say, explore or try to look more than 1 year into artists' career, or you know, try to travel around the world to see their exhibitions, or even meet them in their studios, which is very important, by the way. I just came back yesterday from Budapest, meeting 2 artists in their studios. I love that.
It's so cool.
I love that. You know,
Yeah, if you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can contact either the curator, and they'll be able to set up, you know.
Not every artist is really into
not
that.
Not all of them do
I have
it.
to say.
Yeah.
But the ones that do, I mean,
But you can always ask.
Yeah, I mean, take your
The
opportunity.
worst that can happen is you ask to see their studio, and they say, "Oh, the studio's not
I mean,
open."
what we do with the established collectors, we travel with them around. There is a next trip to Belgrade, who is the studio of Michal Milunovic. I mean, he has one in Paris and one in Belgrade, and there is 2 or 3 already really established collectors from 2 different countries that would like to meet him or see the new body of works that he would like to exhibit in the next museum show. And of course, he is into that as a person, and we are going to organize it for these collectors, and it's a great pleasure to have them. And that's something that a gallery, I think, needs to do and should do on a frequent basis if there is a request for that, and if the artists, of course, like to do it as well. So, if you know, when you speak about the young generation at school and the open studios,
perfect opportunity.
Perfect, yeah, perfect opportunity. Just go and see and talk to them and do whatever you want.
We have an artist in the Slovak scene who's now currently very much on the rise, Andrej Dubrovský.
Dubrovský, yeah.
He just had an exhibition in Korea. He recently had one here in Bratislava, but he's also now kind of going all over the place.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that there was a private collector who saw his student show, bought the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now...
Yeah, I
like,
mean...
What are you sitting on? I mean...
Absolutely. I mean, when we talk about the monetary aspect, of course, it can be important to buy or to have a good nose and eye for an artist at an early stage.
Yeah.
I think it's a diversification of your collection and a portfolio, because when you buy something out of 10, let's say when you buy the works of 10, let's say, young artists, probably 1 or 2 will make it, the other ones probably
this is more
won't.
like venture
Exactly.
capital investment as opposed to
so
future.
It's higher risk, but of course your financial entry level is probably lower than if you would go to an artist from the 60s.
It's also about that giving something to the community, supporting the community, and growing the community. And I think, man, we could talk about this for hours.
Yes, we can. I hope we will.
And this is only the first.
The first one
of the art scene.
Yes,
perhaps unseen podcast. And we'll be back with more. Thank you for tuning in to the first Art Scene podcast, or possibly unseen. It's been an amazing discussion, and we look forward to having more of these. Feel free to like and subscribe, tune in to the future podcasts, and you can find us wherever podcasts are found. Do we want to say anything in closing? Where can we find Steinhauser Gallery?
Sure. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Gabriel. Thank you very much also Marek Bartovic, who is behind the camera.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Yes, and you can find us, or you can visit our gallery from Wednesday to Saturday, 1 to 7 p.m. It's Laurinska Street. You have to ring the bell, first floor, private space, safe space as well, and or on appointment. You will find all instructions on our homepage. It's www.steinhauser-gallery.com. Enough
self-promo.
Yeah.
You'll find me floating around the galleries, so you can always find me here during opening night and floating amongst the galleries in Bratislava, Slovakia,
Yes.
and all over the world. So we hope to bring a lot of different perspectives with this podcast, talk about many different aspects of art. I know we're going to discuss fraud.
We can.
I know you have some experience busting fraudsters, which is really exciting. So hopefully we can get into that in a future episode. We'll talk about young artists, we'll talk about established artists, we'll talk about living artists, dead artists.
Yes.
Pretty much
Collectors, art scene, everything around that. I mean, I'm happy.
Yep.
And let's meet again.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.